And welcome back to Zanpakuto Creation Series. This one comes to us from CJM. Well, that's a big one. What is Lucifer Morningstar Zanpakuto? Now, I'm actually a big fan of the show Lucifer, but we're not going to be looking at, because you didn't specify Lucifer from the TV show Lucifer, because even though it's based on the same character from the Vertigo comic series, it is not, because it's adapted. You can make a very strong argument they're not the same characters. I mean, the base traits of them are still there, obviously, but it's still not the same character ultimately. So I'm looking more. I mean, but it doesn't really matter which image I used. I just decided to go with the comic one. Now, because first off, Lucifer Morningstar is one of the strongest individuals in like the DC universe. Period. End of story. End all be all. That's it. There are very few individuals who are stronger than except for his father, God, or the presence. And his brother Michael is at least equal to him. Otherwise, like, there's really no one in that universe that compares to him. Also, he is legitimate divinity. He is he was the fallen angel Lucifer. So, first off, he's probably too strong to have Zanpakuto anyway. He wouldn't be Shinigami. But if he had a Zanpakuto, this is a very unique circumstance because he is literally a divine. He's very different even from a Shinigami, really. The nature of who he is, what he is, it's kind of ingrained in his creation. So first off, the type, it would be a Keto elemental type. More actually even leaning towards more of an elemental type of Keto-esque abilities. The style, standard katana, that I have no doubt about. Now, the release command. This is one that would be one of the longer ones in my mind. For me, the command is God's fallen son, God's favored son, fall and be reborn. That would be the release, and it works perfectly for Lucifer, as his Zanpakuto would be called Lightbringer or Hikari Baringa, Hikari Baringa. Which bringer, yeah, I get it. And the Bankai would be Lightbringer, the Fallen One, or Hikari Baringa Ochitani. Now, this seems on the nose, but literally the Zanpakuto is just a reflection of you, your soul, and everything. He was literally molded and created in such a way that this would actually be, in my opinion, his Zanpakuto. Now, his spirit, though, would be the form he had before he was a fallen. Like, it would be a more angelic version of himself, because it really is. It is a combination of his angelic side and the fact that he's the devil. I mean, he is still the devil. So his spirit would probably take the form of the version he was before he rebelled. As for what the sword actually looks like in Shikai and what it does, for me, it's bar none easy to explain. It is the true, purest, and strongest version of a light Zanpakuto you could have. It is the pure definition. When he activates it, the sword stays the same. Maybe the handle is a little bit more ornate or something like that. But it is basically, think Ryujin Jika, except with the flames that are coming off it look like flames, but they aren't flames. They are actually pure divinity of light. And he can just manipulate this divinity however he sees fit to do. I could create a light cage. I can just hit you with holy flames. I can, I could even heal some. As long as it's within his power as the, Lucifer Morningstar, as, the fallen, as an angel, he would be able to do it. And I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. So what is a Bankai like this like? Well, the Bankai, I think, at least in form, takes the form of basically, he has his own set of wings. What happens is he actually gains a couple extra sets of wings to give him a Seraphim-like design. Actually, like Lily Barrow's Volstangen, which I think would make a lot of sense. That, yes, he was Lucifer, he has those set of wings. When he's in Bankai, he has 3 extra sets of wings to give this Seraphim-like design. What his actual Bankai does is basically fully amps him up, and basically is now just standing in the presence of him. You cannot lie. You cannot Lucifer's ability to just draw out desires. Like, that stuff doesn't matter. Like, you can't do anything against this guy in terms of what your ability, what your actual abilities are in terms of your mental faculties or anything like that. Add on to the fact that it's a complete negation of any sort of darkness around, unless, again, you were to theoretically have someone of equal power with the same ability. Dark and light clash, obviously. But yeah, there would be no inherent weakness to this Zanpakuto, because there's really no inherent. There are just Zanpakutos that don't have inherent weaknesses. Ryujin Jaka, for example, doesn't actually have an inherent weakness unless you count the destructive capabilities being so destructive it can destroy things. Trying to think of anything else that's like, Katen Kyokatsu doesn't really have an inherent weakness except for its fickle nature. That's about it. And even then, that's not really that much of an inherent weakness, given how broken that Zanpakuto kind of is. Zanpakuto, like, things along those lines. So this would be one of those few exceptions where there's really no inherent weakness for this Zanpakuto. Even if you want to say that turn this character into a Shinigami, the level of power this character would have would be like an Aizen type character. So, it would still be insanely, like, this would be a character that if he were a Shinigami character in Bleach, he would give Ichibei a run for his money. That's how powerful this character probably would be. Let me put it this way. If you were to have Ichibei up against Lucifer Morningstar full power, Lucifer beats the hell out of Ichibei. Ichibei is one of the most hacks characters in that series, and even the most hacks characters in that series could not do much against this guy. Ichibei would have probably among the best shots against this guy, certainly, but that's just because of the nature of his powers. Ultimately, that is what I think Lucifer Morningstar Zanpakuto would be. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks for the next one. Have a good one!